Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page here at Facebook, where I do a daily live stream around the divination card information that I draw in the morning. And it's actually, this has come to be more like a cyber spiritual roundtable and having a spiritual conversation or a conversation about spirit is what it's turning out to be. And it's just plain good to hang out with you guys, our Star Nations community, to be here with me in the afternoons. And I do appreciate it. So thank you for coming and being here. Today is Thursday, January 24th. And I have to say, it's a very exciting day around here at Star Nations. Before we actually get into the card draw and the chat that we do at the very beginning, I want to share the broadcast before we get rolling, because sometimes I forget. Because you start talking and you just don't think about those kinds of things. So I'm doing it right now. I'm going to share it to my personal news feed. And so I just have to find the broadcast here. And I know it's here. It's taking a little bit to download. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there we are. Okay. It's going to be one of those days, I think. All right, so we're going to like it and we're going to share it. And I'm going to share it to my personal timeline. And I'm just to make sure that my friends know that I'm live streaming. And then just to invite them to please join. There we go. And I think that's going to go. I think it's going to go. This has been kind of a wonky kind of time with the internet. And so we're going to see how this works, okay? Okay. So, first let's say hi to everybody, and then we'll jump into explaining a couple of things, okay? So Rochelle is here. Hello, Rochelle. Hello, Rochelle. Always good to see you in the chat. And my sister, Minnie's in the house. Yay, Minnie. So glad you're here. Esperanza's here too. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here, Esperanza. I know that I know we're all busy, but I know that when you make the time to be here, it's because you have a little bit of a space in between what you're doing, right? And Jackie is here too. Good, Jackie. And of course, Julie Shumway Hill, our brand new Star Nations Academy manager. All right, and Julie and I have lots to do together. And Julie, I still have my list and it's out. I just need to have a little space to get that done in, but I'll get you those things that I promised. And Rochelle says, I have blood work done every month, sometimes once a week. Insurance has been paying for this for 18 years. Now they decide they are not paying for these tests. I'm on Coumadin. Oh, it's a blood thinner. Yeah, that's talk. All right. That thank you for mentioning that, Rochelle, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit. I was just sharing with Stephanie in Messenger chat, the text, that the energy is just kind of wonky, and it really started yesterday. And it's just not the internet that's wonky. There's what I noticed is that anything that has like a big footprint, energetic and internet footprint, right, is kind of wonky. And so, you're talking about insurance companies, and that's a huge footprint. And I think that there's a lot of shifting of energy and changing going on. Yeah. So last night, that's okay, Rochelle. That's all right. Thank you for sharing with us. I'm sure you're not the only one being affected. That there's probably many people in our Star Nations community who is also dealing with insurance companies, right? Yeah. Talk about an entity. But the wonkiness started last night. I don't know. Many of you were in Polly Joe's Soul Connections live stream last night. It was so. I literally had 3 devices here. My laptop that I produced the show from, and I monitor the chat room with my phone. Okay. And I also had to have my iPad out because I was following something else. Yeah, it has to do with the studio. And the internet was just not stable. And I couldn't figure out if it was Be Live that was being affected or Facebook being affected. I checked my my signal here at the Academy with the internet, and it was really a strong, very strong signal. But I don't know if you guys, and I don't know what it was like on your end, you know, as an attendee or to the live stream, right? But what I noticed on my phone is that the video would stop, and you'd have to hit the arrow button for it to continue. And when you did that, it started like in, you know, a couple of minutes, or I shouldn't say that, maybe a minute or so in the previous card, and then it would jump forward to the card that Polly Joe was actually doing the reading for. And so that kind of screwed up what I was doing on my end and getting everybody's names and the order in what they came in. And so it was just a little wonky. And there was names that showed up in the studio, but not in the chat room, or from the chat room and not in the studio. And so it kept me on my toes, is what I'm trying to say. It kept me on my toes. And so Stephanie, thank goodness for Stephanie, because even though she was having some major issues with her internet connection where she lives, she was able to do a little research for us. And we find out that Facebook was having outages all over, not just the United States, but all over the world. And it was in patches, it looked like. And so there's a part of me that was going, whew. It wasn't anything that we were doing at Star Nations. And so that was kind of like a relief, right? And yet, on the other side of the coin, it was like, yeah, but then this is the vehicle we're riding in. So if what do we have to do for it to be stable, right? So I'm only mentioning that because it just seems to me that the energy in the last day or two has been kind of, like I said, wonky, you know, and it seems the bigger the footprint of whatever it is, whether it's a business or like Facebook or the internet in general, the larger the wonkiness was. So that's just very interesting, you know. I mean, I really believe that we have to be aware of what's going on around us, right? Not to dwell on it and get into all the drama of it, but to say, oh, I see you. Yep, I notice you. I see you're there. I'm keeping an eye on you, but I'm going to go back over here where the energy is stable and at a higher frequency, right? Yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed anything like that at all. Stephanie is saying, I started noticing the issues on the web about 3 weeks ago because I work the web so heavily. I've been noticing a bunch of apps and websites needing to have coding updates. Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, when you're in it every single day. Now, I do most of my work. I would say about 95% of what I do is through the internet. And so, yes, I see when it's not working right, but to tell you the truth, I don't slow down to even try to find out if it's really affecting exactly what I'm doing. Of course I'm going to. But yeah. Yeah. Hey, Andrea's here too. Hello, Andrea. Good to have you in the house. Yeah. And yeah, and Stephanie is saying, yeah, my home internet is still down. I'm having to hotspot from my phone. Yeah. See, I've never set that up. And I think I should have it set up because the other day, what were we doing? Oh, we had a Spectrum tech out at the house, and I had no internet because they were working on the cable inside the house, um, and I didn't have any internet. And I was thinking, God, if I could just get my phone to work, and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm going to have to tap somebody who understands that stuff more than I do to get the hotspot on my phone working. Michelle says, vehicle that we're riding in. I like those words. Oh, thank you. Well, it's true though. This is when we make our intention. For instance, a couple years, was it 2017? Yeah, the winter solstice of 2017. Paul and I had our outdoor fire, and we were stating, what we were reminiscing, taking a trip down memory lane for 2017 and releasing those things that we felt we wanted to release and what we were going to fill that void with, right? And I said out loud, that I wanted to experience what it's like to have full access and use of my gifts and of my intuition, full access. So that in the application of that, I experience what it's like to really, truly live and apply my gifts. And I choose the vehicle to experience that as Star Nation's organization. So the vehicle I chose is the one that we're using right now. And so, yeah, I think that that's a very linear, almost kind of sacred masculine way of stating your intention. But I really felt I needed to say that out loud. And I have to tell you, though, I asked to have courage, to be brave, to say it out loud and to have that intention. Because I also know that what goes with it is deep healing and facing fears, that kind of thing, So yeah. It's so I choose the vehicle that I ride in. I'd like to think, if we had to describe the vehicle, what kind of popped into my mind, a vision, the image is, do you remember those, and I think it was in the 60s, maybe it was in the early 70s for sure, the VW bus, and they would have it all decked out with the flowers, kind of like a hippie van, but cooler, okay? Much nicer. It would probably be a hybrid van, and so that we're at least being aware of, the fuel that we're using. That's how I'd see it. Yeah, when we get into the Star Nation's bus. Yeah, to take a spiritual road trip, right? Yeah. All right. So I need to also let you know is that we're going to be a little shorter today because I promised Maureen Mann, our new live stream host of her new show, Angel Therapy, which comes on at 3 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 Eastern, that I would be with her in the studio. I'm not producing her show, but I will be in the lobby, in the green room, so to speak, in case she needs me. So I need to be there about 10 minutes before she goes on the air. So this particular live stream is going to be a little bit shorter than we usually do. We're not going to do the full hour, okay? All right, and with that, we should probably get started with the cards. See, the video, I just noticed that it stopped. Oh well, we'll just keep going, right? Yeah. All right. So, because we actually have 3 cards to do today. And the cards that we're using, we continue to use, is the Angel and Ancestors Oracle deck by Kyle Gray and illustrated by Lily Moses. And both come from the UK. One is from Scotland, which is Kyle, and Lily is from New Zealand. Okay. So the first card that comes, when it jumped out of the deck and landed on the table face up, I literally had to say, oh, "You're back." Yeah. Oh, that's Julie. Julie's coming in. There she is. Julie here. Julie Hedges. Good to have you here, Julie. Okay. So he's back. Autumn. And on the card is a raven. And we've had this card, this is the 4th time in a week, maybe even 5th time in a week. Do you think maybe Spirit is really, really trying to get our attention and let us know that release the old and rest? Release the old and rest. Because the energy that we're in right now with that lunar eclipse, that we're still feeling the effects of that. And so I think that's the reason why this card keeps showing up, because it's really, it's a prime opportunity for us to really notice, turn our attention to those things in our lives that are coming to the surface, kind of like whether they're floating to the surface or bubbling to the surface, is really to take note of them. And what aspect is your spiritual team showing you what you could possibly be releasing and healing? Yeah, because we all have it, right? We all have something. Because if we didn't, we wouldn't necessarily have to even be here, because that means that we would have finished our soul contract and it'd be time to move on to the next experience, right? So if we're still here and we keep getting this kind of message, is to really tune in, be aware, take notice of what is coming to the surface for you. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be one of the huge blocks or interferences or debris. It could be maybe a couple smaller ones that you think they're so inconsequential that you just kind of dismiss them. It's like, oh, it's that one again. That's okay. I can live with that one. You might be able to live with that one on the surface, but whatever that's attached to may be what is slowing you down, weighing you down in a way that you just get so used to it that it's the normal. I'm going to put that in air quotes, normal, because what's normal, right? Yeah, it just happens all the time, and so you don't even notice it anymore. You don't notice how much of a drain it is on your energy. And so just, even if you just turn your attention to it, don't dismiss it, but turn your attention to it and see what happens. Asking your team to help you. And call in the whole team, not just your go-to people, but your whole team, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Whoops. I almost bypassed that one. Julie's saying, I had a do nothing day last Saturday, not even get dressed. Julie, I just did two coaching calls today. 2. And both of them had said something very similar. Very similar. One lady I've known for a lot of years. And so, it's kind of like having a chat with an old friend, right? And she says, "You won't believe this, but I haven't really done much in 4 days." She goes, I brushed my teeth." And so, and so she says, I've never been depressed before, so I don't know if this depression or is this an integration. She goes, but I don't have any desire to connect with somebody out there, and so she's just been home. Well, she had to go to work today or yesterday, and so things had to change a bit, but still, yeah. Andrea says, I love the message to release. In your opinion, what are some good ways of doing that? Oh, good question, Andrea. Good question. There's several. And it has to, you have to decide for yourself, discern for yourself what feels good to you. That's really interesting. I'm going to try not to look at this. It's an internet stuff. Okay, so the releasing. The releasing is you could do it in a very simple ceremony. If you know what it is that you're releasing, okay? If you know what it is, you can do a very simple ceremony. If I were you, I would write it out on a piece of paper. And it doesn't matter how long it is, as long as it's just on a single sheet, okay? And I would do a fire ceremony. I'm a fire keeper. That's the people that I come from. And so I would start a sacred fire. And if you can do that outside, that's great. And you can take that piece of paper and you can put it into the sacred fire, asking for it to be released. When you do the release, you also want to have something what it would be to fill that void that you just created. And if you don't know what that is or what that could be, just fill it with the Creator's love, to bring it to the vibration of love. Because you can always work on that other part of it as you get clearer, okay? So that's one way, if you can go outside. If you can't go outside, there's lots of different ways. You can do a prayer at your altar. If you don't have an altar, you can create one specifically for this, and call in, no matter what you do, call in your whole team and have them come. And what you can do at your altar is you can actually say a prayer to release this, and you can ask the angels to come in to help you. You can ask your power animals to come in and help you to take this and to release it, transmuting it to love upon release. And I would add, with grace and ease. So it might happen a little bit slower, but it might be easier on you if it did, rather than in the next second, because you could it could be kind of overwhelming in that release. So with grace and ease. I've known people to do Epsom salt baths and do the prayer there, so that you're actually cleansing your auric field and you're immersing yourself in the water, which is connected to your emotions, right? Yeah. The other way that I would do it, if you know how to give tobacco or an offering like that, to do a tobacco giving ceremony and asking for the release of whatever that is. And if it's emotional, I would put it into moving water, like a creek or a river. I would put that in there. I'm asking my team, is there anything else that we could do? Okay, so for some people, they are familiar with Paralandra, And there's a protocol to what's called opening a coning, and there is drops that you can use. It's for the soil actually, and you can do a paralandra ceremony. Yeah. So the thing is, Andrea, is that the simpler it is, the better. You don't have to have something really elaborate in order to do the release, right? And if you need more information about any of those, if any of those, felt like, yeah, that feels good, that felt right to me, and you need a little bit more information about that, you just go ahead and ask me. You can ask me here in a message, or you can PM me, and I can kind of give you hopefully I can answer the question, right? And Julie is saying, I rested for sure. It stormed big time Saturday night. Then when I got out on Sunday, I fell on the ice. Not good. Still kind of twisted up, getting massage tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Those ice falls, they really test your grace, don't they? You know what? And what I learned, because we live in a very cold, icy climate, right? Is that, and this is why kids don't get hurt as badly as adults, is because kids just let go. They just go, and they don't hold themselves rigid. Us adults, when we start to go and lose our balance, we get tight, because we're trying to get our balance back. Yeah. So I'm glad you're getting a massage. That's going to help get the muscles to feel better, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's some people sending you Reiki, which is good. Here's Rochelle. Thank you, Rochelle, for doing that for Julie. That's so kind. So kind. Hey, Violet's here too. Hello, Violet. Good to have you here. All right. And Stephanie is saying you can also light a 10-minute prayer candle. Be sure to burn the wax if you're releasing something. That's true. Yeah. I was just going to say that if you can do it outside. I've actually used our grill to do something like that. And it's to put a fire-resistant bowl and line it with foil and put the candle in there to be able to do that. Some people use their indoor fireplace if it's a wood-burning fireplace. Yeah. That's a good one, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing that. Did I show that? Yeah. Yeah, and I think probably Joe shares one too, using rose petals in your bath. And that the rose petals absorb the emotions that you're releasing around it. And then you dry the rose petals. When you take them out of the bath, she says not to touch them with your hands. So, to take them out of the bath water when you're done and to put them out to dry. And once they're dry is to put them in the fire or to bury them if you're able to. This time of year, it might be a little hard to bury, but you can certainly burn them. And Julie's saying coning is very powerful. I've done that before. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's very powerful. Ask Paul about that sometime the next time you see him, Julie. And she also says, good one, Steph. Yep, she's agreeing. Yay. Okay, good. You can select one of them that resonated with you and use it. Yeah, Stephanie, I have two. Even use birthday candles. Yep. And it doesn't really matter even the color. It can if you want it to, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is your intention is to release. Rochelle says, what's coning? Well, it's part of Paralandra, and Michelle Small Wright is the one who channeled that information. A coning is working with nature spirits, and it's a prayer, a specific prayer that's used to open up. It's like a vortex or a portal. portal, and for the nature spirits, and so it's a very specific prayer. And if we can, I don't know if Stephanie can do this or not, is that we can put a link to Paralandra and Michelle Small Wright in there, and Rochelle, you can kind of take a look at it, okay, and get a better definition of it from Michelle herself than what I just did. I've used Paralandra. Good friends of mine, one of my sisters, actually two of them. Well, I don't know if many. If you're still in the house, if you could chime in with the Paralandra and the coning, the opening of a cone. Please chime in. But Sharon Rosenblum has been using it for like 30 years. Yeah. Here we go. Thank you, Julie. Is Paralandra. There you go. There's the link. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. Oh, we have to help each other out because of the internet stuff. And here, good. Stephanie's got it too, and specifically about the coning. So good. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. So, with the raven, it's also about initiation too. So it's possible that whatever it is that you're going to be releasing, if you haven't done it already, or you think, oh, I don't have anything to release, is just to be really aware of what's coming up for you, and even look at the small things, okay, and to be able to do that, because once you do the release, right? Once you do the release, and the energy is flowing much better for you, there is that possibility that the next experience you're going to have will be about an initiation to a higher frequency, right? Yay, Minnie says, yes, I do coning. Yeah, I thought so. And Julie is saying she wrote the book behaving as if God in all that life mattered. Yeah. You're gonna, if you don't know Michelle Small Wright, take a look at her stuff. If you want to get closer to nature, she's got some really good stuff there. Like I said, I know many had followed Michelle Small Wright years ago. Me too. I'd say I've been here 12 years. It's got to be like 20 years. And Sharon is another good person to say, hey, what about that? Because she uses it quite often. So does Teresa Girardi, uses it quite often. So it's just another path, another way, another method to do that connection to spirit and to be partners, co-creation, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to take a quick look at Autumn, and because there was one sentence there that I thought would be it's very interesting. Sometimes you too just have to surrender an aspect of yourself in order to continue to grow and prosper. And so when we're looking at even those small things that are coming to the surface, to release and to heal, sometimes it has to do with our ego, right? Because what we're striving for is a balance between our head and our heart. And if there's a piece of your ego that needs to come into balance, there may be something around that you have to release and to let go, right? To surrender an aspect of yourself in order to continue to grow and prosper. And whenever it has something to do with the ego, it seems to me that it can be a challenge for your mental mind to say, okay, all right, I'm willing to let it go. Because sometimes with the ego, we think we need it when we actually only want it. Right? Yeah. Sometimes, that's because of that out of balance thing. And it says, when you let go, you make space for the new to enter your life. You're being guided by your angels and nature herself to release whatever is stopping you from moving forward. So even those small things that we think are small, right, can be an obstacle, can be that debris that doesn't allow the energy to flow in a smooth and harmonious way for you, for any of us. Yeah? Okay. All right. So, got to keep track of the time. So, the next card that came is the Water Guardian. And so the second card always supports the first one. And so it's possible what's coming to the surface for you, coming up, floating to the surface, is about emotional situations. It says connect with your emotions. So even in those smaller things that we think are inconsequential, affected. They affect our emotions. And sometimes we have to actually go into the emotions to truly understand what is it that is what's blocking it. What is this block attached to an emotion? Whether it's sadness, grief, anger, despair. I was just thinking the two coaching clients that I have, a lot around the heart. Things that we would normally just say, oh, you know what, it doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. Even though it's maybe somebody said something, even it could have been years ago to you, and it really hurt your feelings. It hurt you a lot more than what you allowed to be shown. And some of those things kind of come to the surface. It's an opportunity to be able to heal it and release it. Yeah. Okay. And Stephanie has got information about the raven. Thank you so much. Yeah. She is calming to me. Calming. I'm not sure who you're talking about, Rochelle. Not sure who you're talking about. Okay. Oh, you mean the lady on the, oh, yes, on the card. Yep. And it's connect with your emotions. So, especially when we're dealing with our emotions and our ego, calling in your spiritual team to help you. Because you don't have to do this alone, right? We're never alone. That's what we learned yesterday, right? We're never alone. And so, you can call on your entire team. I would call on my entire team and say, okay, I want to release this. I want to let this, whatever this is, go. Please show me how I can do this. What's the best way for me to be able to do this? And I want it to be complete. That's me. Go to the root. Go to the root and be complete. Because the water guardian can help us to dive deep if we choose to call on her energy to help you to dive deep into your emotions. And so she is here to support the releasing the old and resting from the first card. So once you do the release, take some time to rest, to be good to yourself, comfort yourself, right? I would even have mashed potatoes, and I don't, as a diabetic, that's just like having a bowl full of sugar. I would even do mashed potatoes with cream cheese in there and, yeah, a little bit. All right. And the third card that came is the Stag. And on this one, it says trust and thrive. Trust and thrive. And we haven't had the stag in a while. And so when I took a look at the information, it says, come alive and thrive. Stand in your light and glory with grace and majesty. So when we do that releasing, and that's no longer weighing us down, no longer blocking or inhibiting the flow of energy for us, is that we can actually thrive so much more, so much better. And we get to have more access to our gifts. And when we do that, our soul is just shining. You can't stop it from shining. And you can't stop feeling a bit lighter and truly more like yourself, right? So the stag comes in as a power animal to let us know that when we do this work, is to trust your spiritual team, trust yourself. And because you've done the work, you're going to be able to thrive even more, even better. It says, trust in all that you have to offer, all your gifts, strength, and power, and make the most of it. You were born to lead, and this can only become reality when you're willing to put yourself in that position. Stag energy allows you to feel safe because the antlers keep away anything that could interfere with your intelligence and presence, and their strength gives you the power to be agile in your thinking. Yay! Who doesn't want more of that? I certainly do, without caffeine. Yeah. So I'm looking at the time. I want to make sure that we have enough time to do a little break before we join Maureen Mann and her new show. So here we sit with these three cards, and I really do feel like Spirit is really, really wanting us to take advantage of the opportunity that's here in the energy of the lunar eclipse, right? Is to really take notice of anything that you could possibly release. Even though your mental mind might be saying, it's no big deal. Look at it and see what can be healed, and then do the release, to do the releasing. Because then you get to rest for a while. And we have loads of help, because it's going to be about some of your emotions, and we have help. You don't have to do this alone. And once we do the work with the stag medicine, we get to thrive. We're really being encouraged to do this work for ourselves. And when we do that, we affect everything and everybody around us, right? I agree. Andrea is saying these cards are amazing. Love it. Me too. Stephanie put in some information about the stag. She says it's long, but it's worth it. Okay. Okay. So it's 2:44. And what I want to say is, what I usually say every day is, whatever was shared here today, whether it's something, that I said or shared, or if it came through the chat, whatever it was that felt good to you, resonated with you, is to embrace it. Pick it up and embrace it. And then notice, sense, feel, see how the energy for today is unfolding for you, and where this information could be helpful, and whether you're directly participating in it or if you're a witness, because both you can learn from, right? And if it didn't resonate, don't worry about it. I would say there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow's message. You could have that for it to resonate with you, or that maybe you are a messenger and you know somebody who would enjoy the conversation or is looking for the information, and you can just share the recorded show link with them, and then you're done. Yeah. So we're very excited for this day in general, right? Couldn't wait for this day to come for two reasons. One is Maureen's new show, Angel Therapy, at 4 p.m. Eastern, right after this live stream. And then later this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern at Star Nation's Academy on Facebook, the closed group, we have another free mini class for you guys. And the topic came out of this daily live stream. Tina Warbonnet had asked a question a few days ago, is what's the difference between tarot cards and oracle cards? And it generated really good conversation. And we asked Julie Hedges, the host for the Tarot Journey live stream show here at Star Nations, and also the contributing writer to the magazine under the same Tarot Journey to the Stars, actually, is the title of her column. And so she's going to be with us at the Star Nations Academy this evening for a free mini class. It's an hour, and she's calling it Tarot 101. And what the tarot cards mean. And so if you're available and you want to join us, please do. If you're a member of the closed group, yay, all you have to do is come in and you can be a part of the chat. If you're not a member of that closed group, just go to Star Nations Academy on Facebook and ask to join, and we'll get you set up. There's two of us working on that page now. There's Julie Shumway Hill and myself. And so between the two of us, we'll get you approved and into the group. Okay. All right. And try to do that at least an hour before the class starts, if you can. That would be helpful, because that way we have time to get that done for you. All right. Good. Now, please come over to Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann, and she is going to be sharing with us all about angels from her perspective, from her knowledge base, and I believe she's actually going to be doing some card draws too. So I'll see you over there, okay? Because I got to scoot. I told her I'd be there in the lobby, in the green room. In the green room. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and card draw. Okay. Bama Mina, until we see each other again. I love you guys.